Okay, thank you, Marvin. So Phalaworld will be really huge. We're all sure of that.
Hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. But everything set up is in online, and it's really impressive and exciting. So all the calculation power Phalanetwork will provide will allow Phalaworld to work.
Yeah.
Finally, okay. So can you go deeper in the techniques for example, of someone who doesn't know how calculation will work? How Phala can provide this calculation so strongly and so fast to a metaverse?
Yeah. So the way you're using Phala would be pretty similar when people using centralized cloud. So in centralized cloud, so it means what we are. How do I say? Okay. When we're speaking to computation power, most of people will think is like rendering or machine learning stuff, because it will use a lot of like computation resources. But beyond that, these type of computation jobs or tasks, they are stateless. So it means the job itself only have like a start and end. It's over, right? So it's a stateless computation task. And the most advantage for Phala decentralized computation service is we can provide computation jobs with state. So it means that it's pretty like when you're using a back end and you write some back-end program and host it on centralized cloud. It's pretty like that. So you can almost do everything on Phalanetwork in our off-chain computation nodes. So this is the just to clarify the common misunderstanding. But on the other hand, I think the major way to use Phala is through Fed contract, and we will launch Fed contract, I think in 2 months with our. I mean, Fed contract itself is already launched and been testing our testnet. There's no technical problem, but the challenge is we need to have a good to go tokenomics to use Fed contract, how to pay, right? So our current idea is that you can just stake Phala token and get your computation power, get your CPU. So that would be a huge difference from Phala cloud with centralized cloud, and maximize the lockup value for Phala token. So we are majorly working on that now. So I mean, for Fed contract, if anybody is familiar with Amazon Lambda, it's a function as service in the cloud. So you don't need to worry about hosting stuff. You don't need to set up a monitor or hire some ops to check out like if the program is down or up every day, and how to deal with the load balance. You don't need to do that. You just deployment your program on the cloud, and the cloud itself will automatically run it and host it in a high efficient way. And this is also the concept is very similar with Fed contract. So what we want to do is to enable developers to upload their program on Phalanetwork. The program is on the contract, the code is on Phalanetwork. But in the meanwhile, the executions will be automatically executed in the off-chain nodes. So yeah, serverless and function as service is is a killer feature for Fed contract. On the other hand, I mean, for any Web3 builders now, if you want to host a backend with interoperability with APIs or low latency or large computation power, it's impossible to use Web3 services. So, but after Fed contract launch on Phala, you can do it on Phala, and we will sell a lot to the Web3 builders on that, because I know deeply that there's a Web2 service, there's a Web3 service, and the Web3 builders, the developers, will always choose the Web3 service if it's solid, if it can work. So we are very, very close to that. And I think bear market gave us a really good timing to do the fully preparation on it. So yeah, that's about the Phala cloud usage.
Yeah, sometimes bear market can be good. It gives time. We're not in a rush.
Yeah.
And Burder can concentrate on the project.
Yeah.
That's really cool. We can speak quickly of the actuality about Luna. What is your sentiment about what's happened with it?
I mean, when the hype is on the hottest time, everybody is in some illusion already. Like think, okay, this thing is working out. I don't know. The history can't be rewritten, right? The very reason that why Luna is crashed. Part of the reason is because of Ponzi tokenomic itself, but a lot of Ponzi stand for a longer time. But so I won't say it's because of Ponzi, so Luna is down. But on the other hand, I think they are not in bad. It's the algorithm, the system running in Luna is pretty centralized, and centralized can give a lot of exposure, a lot of risk. For example, Luna was preparing to switch the 3 pools on Curve into 4 pools, like Luna, Frax, USDT, USDC, and they need to transport a lot of liquidity. I think it's 20 billion level or 10 billion level liquidity from 3 pool to 4 pool, and they stopped the 3 pool first, preparing to launch 4 pool, and during that time, some actions happened on Luna to sucking up all of the liquidity of Luna of UST. So that's the first time that Luna being under a huge risk, and they never sold it out because the Ponzi mode requires you to sell Luna token and burn into UST. Increasing a Luna token and burn UST so that there is a reduce from UST supply, and the UST price will be upper, come back to $1. But unfortunately, by them, because they are doing this by selling Bitcoin and Ethereum, so it doesn't save them, but dragging all of the crypto market cap into a hell. So I'm not saying it's only because Ponzi, but also because unlock. But I'm not saying it's unlock, because if you're centralized, you have a centralized trigger to put the button of something, then you are under a huge risk. It definitely, someone will always attack you. So another thing, the consequence after UST history event is what we learned from it. I sent out a Twitter thread yesterday. I think the most important lesson is you can't trade off decentralized and security just for launching speed, just for TVL, for these KPIs. I think every builder in Web3 should remember Luna. And the lessons we should learn from Luna is that if you are not building on a very solid infra and solid step by step, then when the time comes, you will pay everything you earned from the trade-off. So, I mean, Luna is down, but Ethereum DeFi logout still stand with MakerDAO, with Uniswap, with Compound, with Curve. These DeFi protocols are still in the top 5 because they are solid. So I think that's a lesson. Sometimes when the hype comes, everybody think, "Hey, why don't you do aggressive market strategy? Why don't you push things like faster, like 24 hours? We can create another app, something like this." You can do it. You can increase your TVL in really fast way. But in the meanwhile, when the risk comes, your TVL will go to 0, in 24 hours as well. So, yeah, that's the lesson we learned, right? So, yeah, this is my comment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your feeling about that.
Yeah.
It's really instructive, really instructive. Okay, we're gonna go back to Phala, speaking about mining. Mm-hmm. Do you think Phala will provide in the future a list of the hardware you need to run a Phala miner?
I think we got on our wiki we got a CPU supporting list, and we used to have a list for hardware support, but the thing is, it's not only about CPU, also about motherboard. So you have to feed the SGX CPU into some motherboard, and that motherboard is supposed to BIOS to open SGX. So it's very hard for us to make such a list, but we are very clear. We have a mission that we want to provide a easy to go test program for potential miners to test if the hardware can work or not. So I think this is a good way to go. Another thing is we are also considering in expand the hardware's choice, because consumer level SGX is very hard. So we are looking into SGX2, and it means more professional level equipment from Intel will be supported, and we are also looking into AMD SCV as another TE standard. I think these both things will come, but I think in the bear market, the priority is like, let's launch Fed contract first, so that we can have really users to use Phala computation power, and we expand the equipment supporting for other hardwares like SGS2 and AMD, and maybe in the future we can also support GPU or other stuff. I don't know. So because speaking of Phala itself is actually a computation protocol. It's not the SGX protocol. So our mission is that we it's like a Uber. Uber have different type of cars. The Uber X, the Uber, and the luxury cars. So we are the same. We should support as much computation equipment as possible, no matter it's CPU, GPU. But the key is all of this equipment and computation power. We should be capable to rank them in the security levels, and this is the key, because without security, without confidentiality, I mean, the servers are rubbish, and you can't run it in a Web3 cloud. So only with confidentiality you can run it. So no matter which equipment we support, there will always be something like TE or something like SGX to keep the confidentiality. So yeah, this is the future roadmap.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Marvin. Concerning Polkadot, we've got the XCM with available now, so it will provide a lot of share of capability to all the parachain. Do we have something improvement you would like to see fastly on Polkadot?
I mean, the use cases for XM, without token transfer, I think that's the thing I want to see in Polkadot or Kusama in the near future. But I can see that even speaking to token transfer, we are not totally Like not every person opened it yet, so I think we can use 1 to 2 months to open the channels, not for Phala, and but we means the Polkadot, the .summer community. I mean to open the channels for XM first, so it will take 1 to 2 months, and after that, I think besides crypto transfer, we can also have NFT transfer from different regions. And in the meanwhile, I'm very curious and looking forward to have the best use cases while using XM. You know, the crazy ideas, the innovation ideas, because only for token transfer is not the end. XM is not built for that, so not only built for that. So yeah, looking forward on that.
And to see more. Yeah. That, as we all know, Polkadot has a great potentiality. We see that later. It's viable. It's solid. Yeah. Really. Yeah. So I know we share this sentiment and are confident about Polkadot. Okay, Marvin, it was great. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this great answer. Would you have something to say in French for the French community?
I mean, I'm really happy that I went to France in last month, and Paris is really beautiful, and for people like Steve is really friendly and really nice. So I think for Phala community, we will put more resources on Europe community growth, and of course US community growth in these 1 to 2 years. I actually a little bit begin to enjoy the bear market, because it gives all of the people the time to think, to rethink, to rehearsal and prepare the plan for the future. It's a good time for build. That's true. So see you maybe next time in France.
Yeah. Super. Thank you very much, Marvin.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man.